but I'll send one joke and you can make a determination. So he said, remember the joke he did about Dahmer, where he essentially reads the UPI wire copy of the Jeffrey Dahmer trial, and it's so grim. I mean, it could not be grimmer. It's like Hieronymus Bosch sort of, and he disemboweled the young boy and ate the entrails, you know, all that stuff. And it gets to the end of the joke, and Norm says, in his defense, Dahmer said he started it. It's so such a Norm.
Hire him on the spot.
Hired him on the spot. Yep. Put him in a room with Drake Sather, the great Drake Sather, who was on that Young Comedian special with us. And they tinfoiled the window shut like Elvis. They both smoked Smicks.
Nuts.
And the head writer would go over and ask him for jokes at a certain time, and they bridled at that. And I said, listen, these guys are rare avis. Think of that as a, like, orchid hothouse. Those are two geniuses. You can't ruin the humidity in there. So I said, I went over to Norm and Drake, and I said, listen, guys, I'm not going to take your best jokes. I don't want to know your best jokes. I need some 6s and 7s for this monologue. Because Norm would write jokes that I'd have to hand back to him. They were so brilliant. I said, I can't tell. You know, I'm not going to take this joke. This will be what something and Drake too. He was a stone killer. So they said, fine. So at 1:30, it literally is like the food slot in Papillon, where the jokes would slide out into the door. And out of 12 jokes, some of them were so crazy that you thought, I'm going to go to hell just for seeing this joke. And then a couple were just they were two brilliant minds, and you know how they love to be left alone.
Do you know the comedian Drake Sather?
Sure. Well, he's your half a man.
They were roommates. They were office mates.
Shit.
They were office mates at Dennis Miller.
We were really good buddies. But we figured we'd try to figure out how to write a movie.
Yeah.
So there was this course. I told you this, right?
I think so, yeah.
There's this course. Robert McKee taught this course over 3 days at UCLA.
He's like the most
He's the hackiest, the worst.
But the most famous.
How to write in $3,000.
Yeah, exactly. So it's 10 hours a day. So me and Drake we're fucking lost immediately, like an hour in. We don't know what the fuck anybody's talking about. But he started the thing, by saying, he said, it's all about story. He goes, we all know people. It doesn't matter the contents of the story. It's how you tell the story. We have all met great storytellers, and it doesn't matter what the story is. Like, because we've all met people, the worst thing could happen to them. Like their child could die, but they tell the story as nothing. Meanwhile, another woman could be telling a story about how she missed the bus that morning, and just captivate you, with all the details, and it'd be fascinating. So then for the whole rest of the 10 hours, Drake kept turning to him and he'd go, hey, Marjorie, I don't mean to be insensitive, but that story of your boy dying, bit of a yarner. I don't know if you've heard Mabel's story about getting on the bus this morning, but might pick up a few pointers. And then you just do different variations of it all day long.
Oh, but I am trying to be healthier, though. I want to quit smoking, but I just know if I do, I'm going to go right back to cocksucking. It's not how it is. You drop one bad habit, another one marches right in there, And the oral habits are the hardest to break.
I know to smoke.
I'll smoke it for you.
No, I'm trying to.
I just figured it would be rude not to offer you a light.
It's nice, but I'm trying not to. And I feel if I
sitting there with a cigarette,
I feel if I took one puff. I have an oral fixation, my doctor tells me, which is not good.
How did he know that?
I was sucking his cock.
Well, another Thanksgiving has come and gone, and I thought it would be a good idea this year for me and my mother to say what we were thankful for. This is my mother, Fern. Now, we've written them down on index cards, what we're most thankful for. Should I begin?
You can just start.
I am thankful for the opportunity to do stand-up comedy for a living. Why, there is nothing more gratifying than to step out on a stage before a quiet crowd and through my comedy turn them into an unruly mob.
I am thankful for the brave man who pulled me from a burning building last week and sadly perished. In the process, I'll never forget him. I don't remember his name, but I think he had a mustache.
I am thankful for women, the greatest creatures on earth, because without women, there would be no cookies.
I am thankful for the kindly ladies who live across the country and leave pies on their windowsills. So an old chunk of coal like me have a bite to eat from time to time. I am thankful for the troops, except for that one guy. I am thankful for all of my grandchildren, especially the ones I like. I am thankful for the fine young men and women of the LAPD, along with the Burbank Police Department, who joined forces this year and finally solved the baffling murder of Bob Hope. And finally, I am thankful for friends without which it would be a cold and dark place. Yes, friends especially like ones where Joey gets Chandler a duck. The end. I hope everybody had a really happy Thanksgiving.
Why you going high? Push me to the side. Just keep going on and I am getting tired. Yeah, you try to crucify all the good inside. You go and call 911.
The last one. Okay. I went to the doctor the other day and he told me you are what you eat. So I ate a bowl of Count Chocula. I went home and became a Dracula. Oh, good Lord.
Excellent.
That's enough nonsense for one day. I'll write it all down and hold it out here. I'll have somebody. And that's what I need. If you're going to do all these, I need a person with a, what do they call them? A what?
Cue card.
A cue card. That's it. I need somebody with cue cards. Don't you think?
I think it's a little early to be a diva.
I think it's too late to be a diva. Have fun.
Wild, dangerous, and completely unbelievable are just a few of the ways, based on a true story, a new memoir from actor, gambler, raconteur, and Saturday Night Live veteran Norm-Macdonald has been described. Mr. Macdonald's dry sense of humor established him as one of the most beloved and controversial anchors of Saturday Night Live's Weekend Update, and as his book's title suggests, based on a true story, is much more than a memoir. It's a Hunter S. Thompson-inspired epic of the comedian's life, including classic jokes and long mythologized Hollywood stories, with guest appearances from Chris Farley, Rodney Dangerfield, Sarah Silverman, Adam Sandler, and many others. I'm very pleased it has brought Norm Macdonald to our show today. Hello.
Hi, Larry. How are you?
I'm well. You talk about how the process of writing was not something that you really liked. You found it grueling. So what led you to even try to write a memoir?
Well, what happened was I was in a hotel room in Edmonton, Alberta, and my manager told me to look at my Wikipedia, and I looked at my Wikipedia, and somebody had changed my Wikipedia, and I was dead in my Wikipedia, and I had overdosed on morphine, which is some 19th century kind of drug to take, in the very hotel room that I was reading this. And so I chuckled as you did at first, but then I didn't. Then I got frightened because I knew that one day that would be true, you know. And
what, that you die of morphine, or
no, just that the tenses change.
Mm-hmm.
Is becomes was, and does becomes did. And so I thought, well, one day in the future, when Norm-Macdonald was, that will be what's left, is a page on Wikipedia. So I said, I want to tell my own side of the story, and not just a series of facts, which I suppose is what a person's life is a series of facts.
Well, based on a true story, when we see that beginning of a movie, we know a lot of license has been taken.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think, though, if you base something on... it's not really based on a true story. It's based on facts, but it is true. That's how I would say it.
How would you describe your writing style here? Are you using the truth as a stepping-up point for some rather elaborate storytelling? And how does this kind of writing differ, or is it the same as what you do when you're doing a stand-up?
No, it's much different. I'm not an educated person, so I wish I was, because I would have been able to write the book. But I wrote 4 books. 4 attempts at this book. Not 4 drafts, but 4 entirely different books, until I came upon this one that I think works.
Well, you told the Washington Post.
Maybe doesn't, I don't know.
I can't imagine how anyone likes to write a blanking book. I couldn't hate it more.
Yeah, I hated it. I hated every moment of it.
Through much
I liked writing the end, those 2 words.
Through much of the book, you drink and do a lot of drugs and gamble. And
yes.
Are those things that you do on a
I don't
day-to-day
do them now.
life?
No, sir. I don't do any of them, but I did do them. Yes, I did do them a great deal. I didn't enter show business until late in life, and before that, I was sort of a criminal. I had criminal. Yeah, I was a criminal, I suppose.
You engage in illegal activities?
Yes, sir. I did.
Wow. Like what?
I would sell drugs. I would break and enter. Anything to...
Statute of limitations,
anything to survive. You know, I was just trying to survive. I had no money, and I was only 14 or 15 when I left home. So
this is in Canada.
This is in Canada. So you do what you have to do, and it's not immoral. You know, there's nothing immoral about it. But you know, I remember we would steal electric typewriters. This is how long ago it was. And we would smash the window, and the alarm would go off, and we'd grab electric typewriters. And we used a cab. The cab driver would be involved, and then we would drive to an Indian reservation where the police were not allowed to enter, and that's where we would put all the goods that we had stolen.
Would they go to a fence?
Yes, exactly.
You also mentioned gambling. What does it feel like to lose your net worth, something you say that you've done twice in your life?
Yes, it feels very good.
It feels good to lose everything?
Yeah, you go to the coffee shop and you have a coffee and you feel fresh and you feel like, hey, I'm going to start over. I can do it again.
Really?
Yeah.
I've always wondered about the appeal of gambling. Because the little bit of gambling I've done, okay, you know, sometimes I made a couple of bucks, sometimes I didn't, but it doesn't really, I don't understand the addictive quality.
I guess what you're addicted to is hope, which is not such a bad thing according to our president. So, you know, when the dice are in the air, anything can happen. And then it hits the cruel green felt, and sometimes you bust.
You, along with so many comedians of your generation, Jim Carrey, Mike Myers, Martin Short, Catherine O'Hara, John Candy, Dan Aykroyd, Seth Rogen, Phil Hartman, Eugene Levy, Samantha Bee, are all from Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Is there something about Canada that produces all those funny people?
No, I don't think so. I think it's probably, we have 10% population of North America without Mexico, whatever that's called. So we have 10% population of what the United States has. So I would say it's probably, you mentioned 10 guys, I could probably mention 100 Americans.
Really? Well, but those are some of our favorites. And
they're my favorites. Yeah,
your
Martin
father
Short
was a bit of a raconteur.
Incredible.
Did you think you got some of your comedic influences from him?
Yeah. Well, we lived a rather bleak existence when I was young. We lived on a farm that was sort of obsolete and was just barren, rocky soil. So. And there was all those old men around, and but they were always happy and funny, even though their existence seemed bleak. That's why I was so attracted to Russian literature, because I saw all the people I knew in those books,
Like, I mean, we're talking about Shmedyadkov or Raskolnikov?
Like just Gogol and
the absurd guys.
The absurd, yes.
My guest is Norm Macdonald, who's written a book called Based on a True Story, a memoir. You spent 5 seasons on the cast of Saturday Night Live in the 1990s.
Yes,
how did you secure a tryout on the show, given the fact that your background was stand-up comedy, not sketch comedy?
Well, I was working on a show called Roseanne with Roseanne Barr, and I talked to the head writer of Saturday Night Live who liked me. He phoned me up and he liked me, and so he gave me the job. And so I went to Roseanne and I quit, and I came to New York. And then they told me, you're meeting with Lawrence tomorrow. And I'm like, what's that for? And they go, well, that's the audition, you have to audition. So I'd already quit my job. I thought I had the job. That was what I was told, that this was just a mere formality to meet Lauren. And then it turns out it's an audition. So I go in and he goes, I'd like to, you have to do 2 impressions. We have to go to the studio, you have to do 2 impressions, 2 characters. Everyone has to do it. And I said, I got to go home because I can't do that.
I don't do impressions.
I don't do impressions, and I don't do characters. And I think he got a kick out of me or something. Lauren was always with me. He always thought I was just a big moron.
Well, he let you do the news. You're best known as the host of Weekend Update, or as you call it, the fake news. Did you do most of the writing for that, or was that something that was
I did most,
collaborated?
But it was collaborative, but... I kind of set the tone, and I tried to make the jokes different than other jokes, and we all tried to experiment. There was 3 of us, and we tried to experiment with comedy and the way that you tell a joke. And my idea was to strip bare all innuendo and all cuteness, and just leave the bare bone of the joke. And if it didn't work, then it wasn't a good joke to begin with. But if it just relied on tricks.
Were there certain stories that were off limits?
Oh, yes. People always ask me, because I do stand-up, is anything off limits? And I hear comics go, nothing's off limits. And I think almost everything's off limits for me.
And you learned, of course, that the O.J. story might have been considered off limits. You were doing this during the time of the O.J. trial, and you got a lot of humor out of that. But
well, yeah.
How and when were you aware that NBC President Don Ohlmeyer was a good friend of O.J.'s?
I found that very strange. Well, listen, I admire that he stood by him. You know, he stood by his friend. But the jokes I did about O.J. were filled with moral outrage and righteous indignation because I didn't like him.
You didn't like him as a person? You knew him?
No, sir, I didn't. I didn't like. I don't like murderers, and I was convinced he was guilty, even though he was, innocent, as it turned out.
Well, he was found not guilty. It's not the same thing.
Listen, I don't think it's
many
fair.
people believe that he was a murderer.
I don't think it's fair that he was given 40 years for stealing his own shirt. You know what I mean? I don't think that was fair. That he was obviously found guilty of the previous crime.
But do you think you were let go, as some do, because of the O.J. jokes?
I don't know.
David Letterman said of you, there may be people as funny as Norm, but I don't know anybody who is funnier. And if we could have, we would have had Norm on every damn week. You had obviously a very special relationship with him, and you performed the final stand-up set on his last year.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it was the last. It was the last stand-up set, and everyone was being very cool with Letterman, very ironic, and that's not how I felt about it. You know, as it came to an end, because he was such an important person in my life, and I feel he was a very important person in culture. I think he changed the way everybody thought and spoke. You know, and so he was very important to me, and I just watched it and saw everybody be cool, and I was not cool about it. I was very sad that he was leaving.
You got very emotional. Well,
I did.
You followed Donald Trump on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon last
Yes,
week,
I
one of
did.
the more controversial interviews with Donald Trump.
You know, when I saw it, I didn't think it was controversial. I mean, goodness gracious, it's Jimmy Fallon. He's maybe he blew his chance to be host of Meet the Press, but it's Jimmy Fallon.
Maybe he'll get Matt Lauer's job.
That's right. Oh, yeah, it's Jimmy Fallon. What do you expect? I mean, that's why Donald Trump did it. But I will say this, when I was watching it, I was like, oh, my God, Donald Trump is being very reasonable and measured. This is getting a little frightening. Like, maybe he can pivot. I don't know.
You've had your own television series, which lasted 3 seasons. You co-wrote and starred in a feature film. You've done voiceovers, had a short-lived sports show, a podcast, and even played Colonel Sanders in KFC commercials. Yet you remain somewhat a cult personality. How does that sit with you?
Well, all that stuff is that you mentioned is pretty subpar nonsense. All I really do is stand-up comedy. You know, that's what I'm good at, and everything else came from stand-up comedy just as an accident. But I'm very, very good at stand-up comedy, and the rest is just free money.
How much does the act change show by show?
My act?
Yeah, but for example, Lenny Bruce, it was always different. On the other hand, George Carlin wrote out an act, and he would revise it a bit over the course of a year. But
he was very precise, George Carlin. Was word
even
for
the
word.
uhs and the wells were written in.
Yeah, he was amazing. But no, my act's almost always different. I have so much material because I don't do specials. You know, I mean, I'm doing a special in a month. I shouldn't say that, but I don't do as many specials as everybody else. So I would say I have about 10 hours of material, and most people don't. So I just mix it up, you know. Sometimes I will talk to the audience, and whatever they say, I will talk about whatever they say, because I have a material.
Improv.
I have material on almost. It's not improv, no. It's I have material on nearly every subject.
Comedy Central's president, Kent Alterman, described your absence from the airwaves as one of the great injustices of the world.
Yeah,
but he could give
if
you
only
a
he
show.
knew somebody.
Well, has there been talk about Comedy Central?
I don't know. I haven't been home since then. I've been on the road. But yeah, I read that. It was funny.
Well, considering what you've said about writing this memoir, can I assume that one of the things you won't be doing in the future is writing more books?
I'll probably write more books, yeah.
You will write more books.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, as much as I hate it, I feel compelled to do it. I can't explain it. But once I started writing a book, I knew that's what I should be doing. And I always thought I should be doing stand-up. And once I started writing a book, I realized I should be writing a book.
But writing funny in a book is different than writing funny for stand-up, because in stand-up, there's the tone of your voice, there's body language.
Yes.
Here, you just have to make people laugh because of the words that you've used.
It's almost impossible. Like if you go to a library, the last place you want to be is the humor section. You know, good Lord, it's awful. And in the history of America, you know, who has there been? You know, Mark Twain,
Will Rogers.
What's the other fellow's name?
Well, there have been
Josh. Can't remember his last name. But this was long ago. But modern, you know, humorists would be like Irma Bombeck and this kind of garbage.
Well, there have been some funny ones too. But
who's that?
Well, we'll talk during the break, because I have to announce that you'll be speaking with Vulture editor David Marquez. Is it Marquez?
Yes.
Tonight at the Union Square Barnes & Noble store at 7 o'clock.
Yes,
the
sir.
book is based on a true story, a memoir. It is published by Spiegel and Grau. And my great thanks to Norm-Macdonald for
Thank you,
being our
Leonard.
guest today.
You're a scholar and a gentleman, sir. I appreciate it.
There was only one man in town who could make people afraid of him even from beyond the grave. And that man was Richard Chubby. Because with Big Chubby gone, there was only one person to take over the family business. His son, Little Chubby.
Back again, Burt Reynolds in a commanding lead with $14.
Hey, check out the podium. Look at this.
Mr. Reynolds has apparently changed his name to Turd Ferguson.
Yeah, that's right. Turd Ferguson. It's a funny name.
Norm and I were hanging out in his office one day playing a game where you had words and you had to do an impression of somebody saying the same sentence. And he did Burt Reynolds doing it. And we go, oh, well, there we go. So how can we get Burt Reynolds on TV?
And then one time I was talking to Burt Reynolds, and he said he wanted to come on the show while I was doing Celebrity Jeopardy, and then punch me in the face and take over. And then he'd be even stupider. But then I got fired, so he couldn't do it.
The sketch that you got on the air, and you say in your book, hey, you know, I didn't originate this sketch. I kind of stole this sketch with permission. But the famous Jeopardy bit.
Yes, Jeopardy sketch.
Where you play Burt Reynolds,
yes.
And you say Will Ferrell was key to that sketch because he played such a great Jeopardy host.
Yes.
But that thing was one of the most popular sketches, and you pitched that, but you admit in your memoir that, hey, that's something I got from SCTV.
Yeah.
And I waited till Martin Short was a guest on the show, and I pitched it and said, can we do the Jeopardy thing?
Yeah. They did a sketch on SCTV when I was a child called Halfwits, and it was Alex Trebek was in the sketch because he was a Canadian, and it was. It was just these kids. It was when two schools would fight each other, and so it was real stupid. So I always loved that show, and I said, Celebrity Jeopardy, they always ask such easy questions, and the celebrities are all so stupid. It would be great to do it. Unfortunately, they've already done it, and I feel like I shouldn't just steal a sketch.
Right.
So when Mr. Short came to do the show, who later became my friend, I said, who wrote that sketch? And he said, Eugene Levy. And I said, maybe we could phone him, and
get permission.
Get permission. And so he said, yeah, we'll do a conference call. And I said, no, I'll phone, I'm a man,
Yeah.
So I phoned Eugene Levy, and I asked him, I told him the whole sketch. I said how much I loved the first one, and I asked permission, and he was kind enough to give it to me.
There was no better show than that SCTV. That was unbelievable,
God,
right?
It was amazing.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Why does Turd Ferguson? Why does Burt Reynolds hate Alex Trebek?
What's funny is I wrote that sketch because on Saturday Night Live you have to do impressions once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't do impressions, but I do like 4 or 5 guys from when I was a kid that I liked, like Letterman I liked, so I could do an impression of him. And when I was a little kid, Burt Reynolds used to be on the Tonight Show, and he was like the funniest guy ever. So I wanted to do Burt Reynolds, but I couldn't figure out how to put him in anything.
Right.
And so I wrote the sketch Celebrity Jeopardy so I could do my Burt Reynolds. And then when it comes time to tape it, like Lauren told Costume to have a white hair for me and a white beard. And I'm like, no, Lauren, I don't do Burt Reynolds. I do Burt Reynolds from the 1970s, from Smoking the Bandit.
Because that didn't make sense either. Nobody knew why. Why was it 70s?
I know, it made no sense. But it's funny, like you say, Turd Ferguson, because on one of them I go, Burt Reynolds goes, that's not my name, to Alex Trebek, and he forces himself to be called Turd Ferguson. He forces Alex Trebek to call him Turd Ferguson.
Right.
So anyway, somehow that caught on with some people. So still to this day, like sometimes I'll be walking down the street and a guy will go, "Hey, turd!" And then I go, "Thank you," and then everyone else goes, "What?
What is going on?
What kind of universe is this?" Hey, you worked with Burt Reynolds.
Yes, I did work
on
with
the
Burt Reynolds.
TV show. Right?
Yeah, on Evening Shade. Yeah.
Do you have any crazy Burt Reynolds stories?
He did hit me one time live in front of an audience, and I couldn't breathe, and I couldn't say my lines.
Slap?
He hit me with an open hand, but in the lung, and he's got arms like Popeye, those big forearms. And in the thing, I'm supposed to hit him. I'm supposed to slap him on the back and say something which pisses him off or whatever. And I come out there before the live audience, and when we rehearsed it, he said, "I'm an old stunt man, so hit me as hard as you can." And I guess I hit him really hard because his natural reaction, I guess, was to hit me in the lung, and I couldn't talk, and they had to sort of suspend the big show for a few minutes while I got my breath back.
I wanted Burt Reynolds on the show, and he was like, "Oh, you don't want him. He's crazy." And I'm like, "No, I don't want you. I want him." Like, I kind of wanted a crazy guy. Which is what I wanted to talk to you a little bit about.
Oh, yeah. Burt
was
Reynolds,
this notion of
he is
crazy. Yeah.
Burt Reynolds.
But he's
I remember
funny.
one time he
was
caught his
on
hair on fire when he was over.
On the lot.
Yeah, he was
Even
he
shade?
came over and he had caught his hair on fire. I don't know how. We're like, "Oh, you better go to the doctor. You got a big friggin' hole in your scalp."
Because Roseanne's show was on the Radford, along with Seinfeld and Evening Shade. And I remember hearing a story, all his stories about Burt. And he would go on his hiatus, he'd go away and hire people for the show. And then people would show up, quit their job, in whatever bar he just found them in.
That's great.
And they'd come and go, "We're ready to work." And he'd go, "What?" And they'd just pay him off. And the guy'd have to go home. But can you imagine that? Like you're in your little town and Burt Reynolds shows up at your candy store and offers you a job.
That's kind of, what was he thinking?
I don't know. But I think he had some, you were talking about you had OCD. He must have had some crazy stuff. I met Burt Reynolds, though, which was an amazing...
Was he pissed? Because he doesn't have a big sense of humor, does he?
You know what Burt Reynolds loves to do is slap you in the face really hard.
Yeah, he's like one of those masculine guys. He's punching you,
But no, he was real nice to me. And
did he slap you?
He told me really funny stories. He told me he was in Deliverance, which I loved. He said, I used to do my own gags. Gags, I guess, are like stunts. He was a stunt man.
Yeah. And
so he said, they had this gag and where I went over waterfall.
And what, a car or something?
No, he just fell. This was
he just falls off a waterfall.
Bandit. This was like Deliverance. They were in the middle of
right.
So he says, "I'll do the fall. We don't need a stuntman." Frankenheimer says, "No, we need a stuntman." He goes, "Nah, we don't want that." He goes, "Okay, well, we'll just use a dummy. We'll just throw a dummy over,
Yeah.
And he goes, "No." So Frankenheimer's idea was just to throw a dummy over, and Burt Reynolds said, "No, absolutely, I'm going to do it myself." So Burt Reynolds says he does it, and he said he did. He said some term I'm not familiar with. I do a half bike or something like that. he said his shoulder immediately hit a rock, then his head hit another rock.
Oh, God.
And then he said the next thing he remembered, he's way downstream. All his clothes had been torn off him. And he looked up and he was just like in shock, right? The next thing he remembers, he's waking up in a hospital.
Yeah.
John Frankenheimer is at his bedside. And he goes, then I said to John, how'd it look, you know, on the daily? And John Frankenheimer said it looked like a dummy falling off a platform. So that made me laugh.
So he does have a good sense of humor.
He has a very good sense of humor.
And did Bert smack you around a couple of times just to show you where it was at?
So what was the first sketch that you ever got on, or what was the first written material that you ever got on the show?
I wrote a sketch for the first show because Burt Reynolds had just was on Larry King Live and was kind of famous at the time that because he was in a contentious divorce with Lonnie Anderson, and he was wearing this crazy purple suit on Larry King Live, and he announced, "I will, you know, Lonnie Anderson is lying, and I will get her on this show with you, Larry, and we'll both take truth serum." And I was like, "Truth serum? What? Is that even a real thing?" So it was so funny. And then so I wrote a sketch where they both drank like from beakers of truth serum, you know. And Lauren did not care for it. It opened the show, you know. It was like a big hit at the table. What's his name did Burt Reynolds? Phil Hartman. Oh, wow. It was Phil Hartman and Jan Hooks. And it just... the next week, Lauren like pointed to it as the example of what we should not be doing on the show. He said it was just the, you know, he calls things Carol Burnettish, you know, which is the ultimate insult. He said it was just the most Carol Burnettish type of sketch. But I didn't know what I was doing. I don't know. And he let me do it. It got all the way to the air. He chose it, and he put it on first. Not my fault.
I love the Burt Reynolds impression you do. So a bit about A, like the genesis of it. B has Burt, and he met Burt, has commented, and just while I have this, over the 41 years of SNL, I'm wondering, besides Farley, going back to day one, who are the players that really you most admire and maybe shaped anything?
Well, when I was a kid, I liked, my favorite was Dan Aykroyd about 9 Miles. And I always wondered why Chevy was the star, because I thought, God damn, Dan Aykroyd can do anybody, and he's so funny and stuff. And the reason I wanted to do Burt Reynolds, because I loved him when I was a kid. I don't really do impressions, but guys who I really like, I can do. And guys that are funny, it's kind of a cheat, but, you know, you do an impression of them, and then you're funny because they're funny. Do you know what I mean? So I always used to watch him on the Tonight Show, and I said, I gotta get him a sketch, so then I stole this sketch called Halfwits from Second City, and I turned that into Celebrity Jeopardy, and I felt really bad for stealing the sketch. And so I waited until because Martin Short was coming on. And I said, Martin, can I do this sketch? You know, I stole it from Halfwits. And then he said, oh, I didn't write it, Eugene Levy wrote it. So then I had to phone Eugene Levy and ask him. And he was a gentleman about it and said that I could do it. But then when I did it, you know, Lauren picks out the wardrobe. He had like this gray hair and gray beard and stuff. And I was like, no, I want to play it from the 70s. And it's kind of odd, but all the time I did it, nobody ever commented. But the 3 celebrities, one of them was from 50 years ago. Oh, Burt, yeah, no, I met him, and goddamn, that guy was funny. He just told me the funniest stories. And yeah, he said he wanted to, this is a story he told me. He said, you know, he could all these girls when he was young, you know, he was so handsome and everything. He said one time he was in a hotel, and there's this beautiful blonde, and she said, like, just come up to my room, you know, and have a lot of sex. So he goes up to her room, and they're kissing on the bed and stuff. And then he said she whispered in his ear, and she said, "I'll be right back. I have to take a dump." So she ran away. Most of us would run away, but he could just get the next girl to marry.
What are you still toying with the idea of the puppet act, or were you telling me?
Oh, no. Why, you want to hear that guy?
I just remember you telling me you were working on a ventriloquist act.
Yeah, we don't call it puppet act, but thanks a lot, man, for the respect. The new thing is, as you call it, the puppet act. We call it ventriloquism.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's like
I didn't want you to be slumming there.
It's kind of postmodern ventriloquism, where the act almost talks about the non-existence of the, he cops to the fact that it's an inanimate object. You've heard that.
A reductivist approach to
yes, and they've also, I've noticed, they've exchanged. They used to just have the wood, like your joke would work, the lathe, back in the late 70s when you told it, right? But now, they've replaced the Charlie McCarthys with these giant, much more likable Muppet-type characters.
Oh, right.
Right, so it would be like because they found they were making too many movies where the where the antagonist of the film was a ventriloquist dummy. Nothing but pure evil.
Right.
So then the ventriloquists are going, "Oh my God, this is not going to be good for my act."
The malevolence factor. So they went to sort of a sleeping bag with a face on it, the big
exactly.
plush thing.
That's what it looks like.
Uh-huh.
But no, Rusty's wood, my guy.
Wait a second. Saberhagen, you have to isolate that quote. That is going to be played regularly on this show. Rusty's wood, my guy, is the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, man.
Oh, tell me about Rusty.
Hey, what, another guy canceled?
I don't know. What's Rusty look like?
What, Rusty? Oh, no, I'll get him out of the bag in a minute. But listen, that is...
Well, listen, Norman, I can't tell you how good it is to hear from you. I think you're a genius.
Wait,
I love you.
Wait, is it over?
Well, I haven't played a commercial yet this hour. No,
but are we going to do another bit after the commercial?
Can you stay?
Hold on, man. Let me ask Rusty.
We'll be right back with the guys on the Dennis Miller Show. Starring, is his name Sandy?
Rusty.
How many puppets do you have?
I got 3.
3 in the bag?
Yeah, I got them cheaper because there were 3, but at least they're not cheap. I paid a pretty penny for them.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of them worked with Paul Winchell. This guy was a fortune, and then he's one guy. Rusty's the main guy, and plus I got a book. To do it, Hold on a sec. What the? That's just Gervitz phoning. He's phoning to ask me if I'm on with you guys. Should I take it?
Well, Gervit's checking up on you. We're all somebody's puppet, Norm. That's our plight in life.
Right, why do you keep saying puppet? Jeez, man.
I don't know. Well, these personas that you have.
Anyway, to me,
what's the Winchell?
They're as real as anything real, like a person.
Well, how I don't.
I have 3. One's Rusty. He's my, as it says in the book, he's my main man. And he's just like an everyman, this guy will say anything. And then there's one puppet that's no good at all. That's he's an old guy and he's cranky about everything, right? But also he doesn't believe the Holocaust happened. He's like the worst puppet character ever. Like, I never want to talk to him. I never use him because it always comes back to that.
It's not Steve in Vermont. The puppet isn't Steve in Vermont.
No, he's the worst, man. The guy's just, first of all, he's playing wrong. He's not like an evil guy, just ignorant. Like old mental D. But anyway, and then the third one's Richard Nixon.
Actually,
you can talk to any of them. I don't care. I know. I'm not talking to old man Jenkins.
I am not a puppet. Thank you, Norm. Norm, the last time I talked to you, you were working with a puppet. Does that still hold true?
Why? They're not called puppets, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. What are they?
Ventriloquist dummies. And even that is a little apathetic. But
what would you imagine they'd like to be called in a perfect
well,
world?
I call them my friends.
Yes, of course.
My friends in the bag. Christian wanted me to do this, but I don't know where that bag is.
What were some of the puppets? Who was your rat pack in there?
I had my regular guy Brad. He's just my buddy, you know. And then I got this old man, and I had trouble with him. He's too cranky.
Right.
And it turned out I don't even want to mention what he believed.
And weren't you also beginning to work with a young Chippewa girl?
Oh. No, that one was too expensive. I wish I could find my Richard Nixon doll, because now they have that Frost-Nixon debate.
Yes.
And I do have a Richard Nixon doll.
Uh-huh.
Now I'm calling him a doll, but he's somewhere. But I haven't even started working with him on the road because I'm not very good at it yet.
No. If you use the Nixon doll, you have to hold his arms up and have him say, "I am not a doll." And then you know what'll happen then? Oddly enough, as in Rosemary Woods Land, you'll be greeted by 17 and a half minutes of silence.
Man, that impression was, I would say that's about equal to Frank Langella's.
I thought it was pretty good.
No, I'm serious.
Thank you.
Frank Langella sucks.
What do you like to do during the days in San Fran to unwind? Do you go?
I just work on my ventriloquism.
Oh, how's that going, Norm?
It's going great, man. I thought Rusty and I would do a little holiday song for you.
Oh, you're kidding me. Let me kick back here and put my feet up in front of the fire, you and Rusty. Which puppet is Rusty? Refresh me.
Rusty's just my friend. You know, I'm having a lot of trouble with my cranky old man. I don't know if you remember old Alec Majerison, the virulent anti-Semite.
Yeah, sure, I remember. What, are you kidding me? I have a plaque commemorating my first meeting.
I'm trying to get rid of that guy because you know he's a Holocaust denier. That's no secret. He's an enthusiastic Holocaust denier, and I've had it up to here with this character. You know, the man, he's just a waste of wood. But I don't know what to do. One of my Jewish friends suggested that, why don't I just throw them in a fire and burn them? But I say two wrongs don't make a right.
Gotta go.
But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. Let me get Rusty out here. Rusty, say hello to Dennis. Hey, Dennis, how are you?
Hey, Rusty.
What?
Hi, Rusty.
Who's the dummy here, me or you?
It's me.
It sounds like it's you.
I'm sorry, Rusty. Let me give you my man voice. Hey, Rusty, how are you doing?
Yeah, dummy. Hey, come on now, Rusty. That's ridiculous. Calling Dennis Miller a dummy on his own radio program.
No, can I jump in here for a second and tell you, here's how crazy Norm is. I'm sitting here believing that he actually has a puppet. Like, it's not enough for him to fake the puppet act on the radio and over the phone. You did pull out a puppet and have it on your arm right now, don't you?
Of course I have my pal Rusty here. Yeah.
What do you boys have planned for us today, Rusty, Norm?
We're going to do a song, according to this dummy. Would you stop calling me that? You're the dummy. Now listen, we're going to do a song, a beautiful song. Why? By the way, Rusty, what are you doing for Christmas? Are you going to see your family? Oh, sure. In my family tree, it's an actual tree. Okay, now that's just ridiculous.
You're actually overlapping dialogue here, Norm. You're not even putting a second between you and the puppet's voice.
Now, Rusty, are you ready to sing that song with me? Sure.
There you go.
Okay, I'll start. Here we go. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw him, you would say that he was a drunk. Hey, come on! Well, that's ridiculous.
What the?
Come on now, don't ruin this. Is a classic. I'm sorry. All right, now let's continue. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to town. Rudolph, with your nose so bright, have you been drinking some bathtub gin? What? Okay, now that's enough. That's way beyond the pale.
Stop it, Rusty. Stop.
I wish you'd kick the bucket. Like what? Kick the bucket. What are you talking about? You said pale. Bucket. It's a synonym. Okay, all right. Yeah, that's right. Okay, now that's ridiculous. You're the dummy. Okay. Stop. I'm sorry, Dennis. This is going nowhere. This is ridiculous. I apologize for Rusty.
Oh, Jesus, it's so crazy. It's gotten so crazy over the years.
I can't go on with this. This is just an abuse to the whole idea.
All right. Now, what separates Rusty's old man voice from the old Holocaust denier's voice? Give me that voice.
You don't want to hear from him, do you?
Well, I know Rusty's just wetted the palate for a little more puppetry.
I swore I'd never use this guy.
It's like the Stones doing "Sympathy for the Devil" after Altamont.
There we
never
go.
thought I'd
Alec,
see you play it.
Alec, how are you?
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay, I guess. Yeah, I suppose. What do you think of this Christmas? What do I think of it? I'm not going to celebrate no holiday where a bunch of bearded New Yorkers killed our savior. Hey, come on now. You're going back in the case. I'm sorry, Dennis.
Oh, Lord. You didn't quite have control of the posse today, but I realize it's the holidays are amongst us and that they're a little petulant this time of year.
I can never keep these guys under control.
Norman, do you still have are you still doing the Holocaust denier puppet? Is he still with you?
It turned out he's wildly unsuccessful.
Meanwhile, on the men's side of the French Open, Novak Djokovic continues his domination. A very talented player, but he's not the only gifted Djokovic. Please say hello to my little buddy, Jokey Djokovic. Look at this guy. Say hello to the people, Jokey. Hello to the people, Jokey. Well, now, come on, Jokey. Listen. Your cousin Novak Djokovic, why, he's certainly doing well. How are you doing today? Not so good. I got a bad case of tennis elbow. What? Well, I'm sorry to hear about that. It's better than a case of tennis balls. Oh, come on. Jokey. It's ridiculous. People didn't come here to hear that kind of nonsense. Now keep it clean. Okay. How many tennis players does it take to change a light bulb? Well, that's a very good question. I don't know, Jokey. How many tennis players does it take to change a light bulb? What do you mean the bulb's out? It was in! Oh, Jokey. That's
After McDonald unexpectedly passed away in 2021, Catan revealed that the feud had been partly embellished for the sake of the media, and that these two wildly different comedians actually shared a mutual respect and a, quote, comedic love.
Chris Kattan you didn't like.
Catan's all right. Just
All right.
we had, when you're in that, it's like being, I won't say it's like being in war, but when you're in a situation, everyone's fighting for themselves.
There's another great quick Norm story. Great quick Norm story.
Kid, Artie.
well, Jim will appreciate that. They do a big Rolling Stone article about the Kansas City.
That was a great one, man.
They do a big Rolling Stone article about the cast.
I got
about
a good
the
one.
what? So the cast of Saturday Night Live.
Right, yeah.
And it's everybody kissing each other's ass. So they ask Norm about Chris Kattan. And it's after pages of, I've never seen someone do better character work. Norm's quote is, he seems gay to me. He goes, I've never met a guy who said he wasn't gay. He seems so gay. But I guess he says he's not gay, so whatever.
Hey,
I love that.
what about Norm Macdonald? You're at war with him as well. You two don't like each other.
Warring with Norm?
Here's what Norm said.
Oh, good.
I got it for you.
Another
All right.
one.
Chris and Norm Macdonald apparently hate each other. This is according to my notes. When Norm hosted Saturday Night Live, Chris did not appear on the show. Wow.
Wait, when was?
In November of '97.
Oh, right.
Norm said of Chris, I don't know, but to me he seems gay. He claims he's not, but I've never seen like a guy who's not gay seem so gay. I don't find him funny. What can I say? Never made me laugh. What happened between... First of all, I don't believe you're gay, are you? I know someone you dated.
No, I'm not gay.
Yeah, you did.
And he's certainly
But it's
had
kinda-
to have laughed at you once or twice.
Right.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
a funny guy.
Right.
Well, that was the.
I mean, your
Rolling
characters.
Stone
Some of your
article.
characters are effeminate, so maybe people will think you're
Right,
gay.
like Mango's,
he's gay.
Queer as day.
Right. So
yeah.
So is Norm a homophobe? Is that the problem? He doesn't like gay
definitely
characters?
think he has a problem with
But give me the history of this. I love feuds.
Okay, let's see. What is, I don't know
You
exactly.
didn't appear on the show for a reason. You just...
No. I don't. I just think I didn't get my sketches in. It wasn't like I'm not appearing in the show.
And when you're on Saturday Night Live, I've heard this before. When you say you didn't get your sketches in, you have to write your own material. If you don't get it in, if
it doesn't pass muster.
then you're not on the show.
Right.
Wow,
Yeah.
a lot of pressure.
Yeah, every week.
So do you have to hire separate guys to help you write material?
No. I mean they're there. There's there's people you write with normally. So
right. Okay. Because I've heard some people don't help other people. You know.
No, some people don't.
Right.
But I'm not. Because I'm not exactly the easiest guy to write for, though. I'm not like. I'm not an everyman. I can't be the boyfriend all the time. I'm more of a freak.
So why Norm Macdonald? I mean, Norm is an easygoing guy. I know Norm. Why the dislike? Something happened.
Well, let's see. When I first got on the show, he was so nice. He and Spade,
right,
were just like so nice. And then I don't know what happened. He just started. Like
Disliking
Garth
you.
Brooks was, we did like a pitch meeting, and he started saying things in the pitch meeting like you don't want to do. Like Garth Brooks was a guest.
Yeah.
Was a guest. I was like, I'm sure you don't want to do another fag sketch. Like things like that. People would laugh.
Oh dear.
I was like, why is he saying?
All of this.
And then it got kind of old. Like Jesus, Norm, you're like another.
And it makes you inhibited in a writing meeting if someone's goofing on you every time you open up your mouth, right?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't care because I'm not gay. If I was like, some gay guy going, I don't want anyone to know that I'm this
right. And so the gay jokes kept going and going and going.
Yeah, the gay jokes kept going and going.
And then you finally said, hey, I've had it with you, Norm.
Well,
Did you ever confront him?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, but it's like a playful thing. He says it's like a Jack Benny, Fred Allen kind of a feud thing.
But you don't see it that way.
No, I think he's I don't know. But he this is what happened. We were on a flight together. We didn't plan on being together on the same flight. We were flying from LA back to New York to do Saturday Night Live, and it was a red eye, and he's behind me, and we're getting along, whatever. He's talking about crapping on women, or I don't know what he was talking about, something like that.
Yeah,
and it was funny because he was so loud,
right?
So everyone else could hear it. I'm like, I just crap on this girl.
Yeah,
and I'm like, laughing,
right?
Because he's a funny guy.
Yeah.
And then I wake up. And, because it's a red eye, and one of my shoes is missing. And I was like, where's my shoe? And Norm's like, hey, you lost your shoe, huh? And then he leaves. And I'm like, so disoriented. And I'm the last guy in the flight looking for my shoe. And I just, walk off the plane with one shoe. And all the stewardess is like, you are funny.
Oh, no. So he stole your shoe.
He stole my shoe.
And he's playing goofs on you. He's not respecting you.
Right. And then I took his jacket on a really cold night.
Yes.
And his assistant called me at home going, I got to get Norm's jacket. Please get me Norm's jacket. And she was like freaking out.
Right.
I was like, no, this is between Norm and I.
You can't play in this game. Right. Chauncey Hayden, you're on the air.
Hey, Howard, how's it going?
All right.
I've interviewed Chris before. He's a good guy. Chris,
thank you.
Is it not true that Jim Brewer, your former cast member, had a problem with you as well?
I think at one point he thought I stole an idea from him.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So, man, there's so much infighting. You got to admit.
But they're really, that's it, though.
Really?
That's not much for like 6 years.
With a lot of the cast members, and I think with Chris, do you remember that Rolling Stone cover came out, and they only put certain members of SNL on the cover?
Yeah, that was a big deal.
Didn't that cause a lot of strife inside?
Yeah, well...
Why, they only chose certain amount of people for the cover. It was you.
Right, it was Will, me, Molly Shannon, and Sherry O'Terry.
And you did the cover, and the rest of the cast felt like, hey, what are we, garbage?
What is this?
But why be mad at you?
It was because of our characters, too. You know, it was like there was the cheerleaders.
You were the breakout guys.
Roxbury guys.
Right.
And Mary Catherine.
But aren't they mad or jealous because you guys broke out and they didn't? And don't they think that you should stick up for them and insist that they be on the cover as well? But you don't have that kind of juice.
No, what are we gonna?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only makes sense that they would be on the cover, but what are we gonna do? I mean, Norm wanted to be. There's a big stink because he wanted to be on the cover
by himself.
Yeah.
Really?
No, I don't know if he wanted. No, he wanted to be
in that picture.
I don't know. He showed up later, and then he wanted to be. He wanted to stand in the middle of us.
And you said no.
Well, it was just like weird.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Why are you
like who are you?
Like here is like my variety show. What?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I guess he thought he was the guy. All right, Chauncey, thanks. All right, Artie Lang, go ahead.
Hey, Howard, what's up, man?
Yeah, hey, Artie.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, no, I like Chris. I think he's funny. But what he said before about that Rolling Stone cover is wrong.
All right, go. Artie's going to defend Norm, I guess.
Norm represents.
You know, you might be wrong.
All right, go ahead.
No, it's just that, Chris made it sound like Norm showed up begging to get on the cover of Rolling Stone.
Oh, no, he wasn't begging. He was just, like, assuming he was on the cover with us. And
Well, he was, though.
I know he was.
But he wanted to stand in the middle as well.
No. They were begging Norm to do it. And he thought it seemed weird.
He didn't want to do it.
Right. He thought it seemed weird to stand in the middle of all you guys.
Oh, that's true.
They definitely wanted Norm to be on the cover because at the time, I mean, he was the funniest guy on the show. Howard, you've said that a million times.
I think Norm is hysterical.
He is. I already said that.
Yeah, and so does Chris.
But,
I think Chris.
he made it sound like Norm's begging to get on the cover of Rolling Stone.
No.
Said no.
Hey, Artie, do you know why Norm has such a problem with Chris?
No. What
is his problem?
I don't know. I wasn't there when they met or all that stuff happened.
He's never really...
Well, you are Mrs. Norm
Wait a
Macdonald.
minute, you weren't there during the shoot either, but you know all about that.
As a matter of fact, I was, because me and Norm had already done the movie, and I had lunch with his assistant. We went over there.
There you go,
Yeah, I
Artie.
can tell you, Howard, it's Christopher Walken. I hosted Saturday Night Live
Yes.
several times. I think Norm is just a funny guy. He came up to me one day and said, I'm a big fan. I said, what's your favorite movie? He said, Chris Kattan's a fag.
Really?
Nothing to do with anything.
Oh, that's
I, for the
ridiculous.
record, have never heard Norm say that.
All right. Thank you, Artie.
All right, man.
Where are you today?
I'm in beautiful New Jersey.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
You want to hear? Go
ahead. Go ahead. You go.
We're on SNL one time, right? This is what Norm just didn't care about anyone. This a quick story. Pamela Anderson is on it. Every time a hot chick would come on, Kattan would go over the top to like, oh my God, he'd write a sketch. We're gonna make out. She's hot. She's with Tommy Lee Hammer. Back off.
Yeah, right.
I mean, come on. So he writes a sketch, and they do this sketch where it's the Twilight Zone when everyone's in pig face or something.
Right.
All right. So that's the goof. So me, Kattan, we're all in it, and Norm is the guy who's got to go, imagine if you will. And Norm doesn't read sketches, and he's a pro.
Right.
So he would rehearse it and go, hey, imagine if you will, second time, and Kattan would go, oh my God, you don't even sound like him. Why would you do that? And I would stand and go, Norm, you gonna hit him back? Like, you gonna say something to him? You just gonna take that from this guy? Now we go to a dress show, which has audience, and it's being filmed.
Right.
And again, he starts punking into Norm on the set.
Right.
He's going, oh my God, Norm, you gonna do it right? It's my only sketch.
Right, you don't sound like Rod Serling.
He's like, hey, imagine 10, 9, and we're on. And, hey, imagine if you will. And he knew the deal.
Right.
Now we go to air. And Norm still hasn't said nothing. Every time Kattan would would say something to him, I'd look at Norm like, hey, man, you're my hero. What's up? Because if you're not going to say something, I will.
Right.
And sure enough, he'd give me like a wink. I swear to you, he'd give me a wink. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Live Air comes on. And I'm like, 20 seconds to the Twilight Zone sketch. He starts up again. We're mic'd, the whole audience is listening. Like, I can't. Norm, you better sound like... Oh, God, Pamela, you're so hot. Norm, you gotta... Pamela, I can't wait if you ever get rid of... 10 seconds. Norm turns to Catan. Right for his head, he goes, hey, Pamela, did Chris tell you he's gay yet? And he's got all this rage because he likes being gay. Everyone, why don't you just say you're gay and you wouldn't have all this anger and be a pester? 5 seconds! And you wouldn't have all this rage and try to interrupt everyone's sketch because you suck this week. And we're on! Imagine if you will. I'm like, there's my hero. There's my hero.
See, he knew to save it for the live air.
Saved it. He saved
nice,
it.
and Catan sank.
I couldn't even get my words.
I had Jim Brewer on the show.
I love Jim Brewer.
Yeah, he was talking about...
He's a nice boy.
He was talking about a sketch that you guys were doing on
Nice
SNL.
kid, yeah.
Where you were supposed...
Well, yeah.
I didn't know if that was willfully condescending.
Oh, no.
Or,
No, I meant he's a great boy.
No, he's
a man.
Boy.
He's a man.
Yeah, he's a man. He's a grown man.
He always seems like he has a childlike...
He does. That's true.
Yeah.
And he's also always seems stoned, which is weird, even though he's not. He
his
just has that.
his eyes have that in it.
But he was talking about this sketch where you were going to be playing Rod Sterling from the Twilight Zone.
Serling, we call him.
Sorry, what's Rod Sterling? Right. And you were going to be doing this big impression. And Chris Catan was annoyed that you weren't in character doing the impression through the whole rehearsals. And just before you went to air live, this happened. Take a look at Jim describing the scene.
I'll just say, he goes, hey, Catan, not everyone's a real pain in the ass like you, and you're a screw. Nobody likes you. Nobody likes you. Nobody can stand you. I can't stand you. You ask around anyone. 3 seconds. And he just insulted him on such levels that was so wrong that I can't repeat. And Lily, when the sketch started, he turned and goes, imagine if you will. I just nailed it.
Do you remember that? Do you remember what he said?
Remember that. Yeah, I didn't say what he said. He was saying he was being.
He was paraphrasing and being kind. What did you say?
Well, Chris is a great guy, but he used to bring around women all the time to the show. Big, tall women. Big bruisers. And he'd say, "Look, I'm heterosexual." I mean, he wouldn't say that out loud. But that's what that would be the caption on the picture in the New Yorker. Boy, those are funny.
So it was something related to his sexuality.
Maybe. But listen, if I call a person gay, that ain't no insult.
It's a good thing nowadays.
Yeah, if you say it's an insult, you're the homophobe, not me.
Correct.
Call me to say goodnight, kiss me once or twice, I'll never let go of you. Fold me into your arms, stay with.
Would you care to hear my Anthony?
Yeah,
Hopkins
I want to hear
from Sounds of the Lambs.
Yeah, I want to
okay,
hear.
You be
your
the girl.
impression?
You be the girl.
Jodie Foster?
Yeah, just say something.
Who recently came out, right?
Yeah, but don't put that.
I'm not plugging that.
Okay, so just say it like you're. I'm
I'm
Hannibal the cannibal.
I'm Jodie Foster. I can't do Jodie.
No, just say any line.
Okay, Hannibal, you're terrible. What have you done to these innocent people?
Clarice, I don't know what you dream about, but I ate a guy.
That wasn't good at all. I've never done it. Here's the problem. I've never done an impression of him.
Do one. Here's Jessica Biel from Flashdance.
Okay. So Jessica, man, aren't you getting ready for your dance?
Yeah, I gotta go. I got a big thing tonight. It's like
Jennifer.
That much. My Jessica Biel and his Anthony Hopkins.
It was pretty
good.
close. They were pretty close. No, sometimes you
we're
think
working
a
on
good
it.
impression might come out. Do you ever do that?
What?
You
What'd
go,
you say?
I'll try
I didn't
this
even hear what
guy.
you said.
You go, man, I like this guy. I'll try him. Maybe it'll come out and sound
Yeah.
like him. And then it
It's the
doesn't.
first time you try an impression. Like,
Yeah.
maybe I could do Cary Grant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Cary. Nah, it didn't work out.
Didn't work.
Funny, that scene that you guys
Daryl, where's Daryl?
The scene that you
Here's
guys
my
just
Daryl.
did, the one that you just did.
Yes.
You did it a few times, so.
Yeah. Every time we try to mix it up a little,
It's good to do it less than more.
Sometimes less is more. Sometimes
It really
more
is.
Sometimes more is more when you're talking about fat women, but less is more when it's acting.
Yeah, if you're talking about little women, it's better to talk more about them.
Yeah, less is less. With
Talk
women,
less about heavier women.
but less is more in acting. But with big fat women, less is actually
They don't
less.
call 'em-
More is more. There's no hiding that.
It's true. Here's my impression of a big fat woman. Not very good.
Hey, fatty.
So how much longer are you guys going to be here? What?
We're that's it.
Let's do a little from the sunshine.
We flew in for a half
Let's
hour.
do a little from the sunshine.
We're here for
Boys.
another week, I think.
But next year the sunshine. Boys. You want to hear a little?
I don't know
Sunshine
any from the
Boys?
Sunshine
I don't know.
Boys.
Well, they said we could add a little bit off.
Yeah.
Hey, we got to get together, get back on the road again. See, do our vaudeville act.
I can't do that.
Why
Don't
not?
you see I got all this paperwork to do?
Yeah, you're balder than anything.
Wait a minute. If I weren't 70.
Ah.
Let's see. That's good. I got all this paperwork to do, and if I weren't 70.
Okay.
Emailed me and said I should ask you about Rodney Dangerfield when he was on the show. You had some experience with him. Can you tell me that story?
Rodney came on the show to do an update. Like sometimes Lauren would just go, "Oh, Rodney Dangerfield is here," and you go, "We don't know. How do we use him? Yeah, it'd be hard to use him on update." So then Jim had this idea, Jim Downey, where I would go, he would go, "I tell you, I got no respect," do a joke, and then I go, "That seems funny. Yeah, Rodney, get any respect? What about your kids? They must give you respect, You're doing good. My kids, they don't give me respect. Do a few more jokes, I go, that seems hard to believe. What about, certainly, like if you went to a bar, like a bartender would give you respect, right? You go, I tell you, dude. I go, like, this is atrocious, But anyways, Rodney's like, what the fuck? He didn't understand any of it. He's like, why? Doesn't this motherfucker know I don't get no respect? So, anyways, you have to do the show at 8:30, and then the dress rehearsal, and then at 11:30, So he had to get there real early, and he said, "Norm, I gotta talk to you." I was like, "What?" He says, "Why the fuck?" He goes, "I know how to do my jokes. Why can't I just leave and come back at midnight?" I'm like, "Well, I don't know, Rodney. Like, you have to do the dress rehearsal. They make us do the dress rehearsals." He goes, "I know my fucking act. I've done it a million times." I go, "Yeah, I know. I don't know what." So then he said, "I tell you, we were all alone, and Rodney was like my hero and stuff." And he goes, "I tell you, kid, it's all waiting, He goes, "Just fucking waiting, just, He goes, "You do TV, you just sit in a room and you wait all the time, He goes, "The same with movies. You just sit in a trailer and you wait the whole fucking time." He goes, "That's no life, He goes, all there is stand-up." He goes, "The rest of it's all shit, Movies are shit, TV's shit, He goes, "Always remember, kids, just stand up." So it's very, moving and everything. And then he goes, he pauses, and then he goes, "Stand up is shit." And so then I was staring at him all alone in a room, and after he's told me everything in the world is shit. But that was Rodney, man. The heaviness, that's what I always say. Oh, the heaviness, Norm. The heaviness,
He would have been really old at this.
Yeah, I guess the thing with Rodney is he didn't make it till he was like 50 or something, so he didn't care for that. He didn't like all the other people getting the fruits of show business, which to him were just drugs and women. He came from that era where it was like, broads, I tell you, booze, So he didn't like that he had to wait till he was older to get that.
There's a little bit of comedian in all of us. And I think there's not a lot of comedians out there, though. And so when you lose one of them, and not to mention one of the greats and one of the last ones that would speak his mind, it feels like you're losing a book that nobody has copies of, kind of. McDonald makes me laugh. I know everybody. You
Norm makes me laugh hard.
Dude, he does. Hold on, I'll tell you a thing about Norm.
Hard.
So he did this thing one time. He gets up to go from one room into another room, right? He stops at the doorway and he's like, what is this? What is like a... What is this? He's like banging on the door, like just the doorway. He's like, well, what is like a portal to like another? What is this? And he's literally asking the people in the room, right? What do you call this thing? It's like a portal to what? How do you just go through? Where am I? And he was just talking about a doorway, but it was so.
He makes anything funny.
Yeah. One time I had to open up for him this was at a casino. We were doing like a casino gig in Shawnee, Oklahoma.
Wow.
And Cherokee Creek Casino, I think. And it could have, I don't know, this cool lady that I think maybe tried to make love to somebody, but she also helped us get the gig. And Norm was fucked up. I think that when he went on after me, and like I don't even think for the first 7 minutes I don't even think he said anything, right? But the crazy part was the next day we had to play cards too the next day. You had to like be there for the weekend, you know. So we go to the card tables, and Norm's like, man, there's a lot of good pussy in here. And I don't know him really well. So I'm looking around this room, bro. There is zero attractive women, right? There's zero attractive men, okay? Right. So it's not, even if you wanted some ass pussy, there's nothing. Yeah, it's a casino. And it's a gambling game. It's poker.
Yeah.
5-card poker, you know? So... Yeah. And I'm just thinking, well, I guess I just agree with him. You know, he's getting older, and you know, maybe he has a different perception of what's attractive. And I'm like, yeah, man, there sure is. He goes, fuck no, there isn't. Like he had played me, you know, like he was like, this is the ugliest batch of people I've ever seen. Yeah, I watched one of his clips when he was on, I think, The View. Did you see that clip?
No.
When they're trying to get him to like, he's trying to be very realistic. The show's like ultra liberal, and he's just trying to be just a realist, like.
Yeah, that's how he was.
Yeah, and they're like, they're like, you'll never be back on this show. They're all joking about it and stuff. And he wouldn't, because he wasn't like just kind of conforming to whatever, like, I don't know, just some ridiculous story.
Why would they have him on?
I don't know.
That's so weird. Like, he's so not. I can see him doing it, like if they offered it to him, but I can't.
Here we go. Let's get a little bit of it.
That the Democrats don't steal the election from the winner, you know, but who knows?
You like George Bush, don't you?
I love George Bush, man. He's a good man, decent, you know, none of this. He's, you know, he's not a liar, a crook, murderer, or anything like that. So it'd be good to get the. See, I think we should get the homicide out of the White House and get like a fresh start, because we don't want any more murderers.
I think we should just go on to the next question.
Who's the murderers?
Yeah.
Oh, Clinton, he murdered a guy.
Yeah, you know, we're not allowed to, you're not allowed to put out accusations without.
That's a little too far.
That's the way it does work.
Let's just go on to the next question.
Yeah.
This is not my week. What can I tell you?
Oh, it's not mine either, and I'm being very nice, okay? Be a good boy. Now, Norm.
Do you never hear that?
No. Listen,
Norm,
we don't need
I
to
don't want to get into this, and I don't want to hear it, and this is not the place to make those accusations, and you're supposed to be funny. Let's get on to the next question. So get with it.
There you go.
This is a live show.
Why? Norm, but you have been properly chastised by Barbara, so I'm now going to ask the next question.
I thought it was a matter of record.
Shut up.
He's just saying.
Okay. Let me do this, okay?
They don't even want to talk about the fact that maybe the guy murdered somebody.
Yeah.
Let's talk football.
All right, manslaughter.
Let's talk football.
He's doubling down. Yeah, Norm doesn't play by rules, dude. That's hilarious.
He had his own, you know, some humor is a maze, I think. And some comedians, it's a maze. It's a maze that sits between them and the world. And the way that the humor is created is that some people have such a unique maze. Some people it's set up punch. That's a small maze. Set up punch. Some people it's the element of surprise. Some people it's just extremely direct and dry. But I think Norm just had his maze was just different. And I don't think you can create that. I think it's built into you. And yeah.